First thing is, I want everybody to realize that this podcast isn't going to be a normal podcast as you would see fit to understand. I.e., it might be a random jumbling of words that you might not like or you might like. I'm Survivor Gamer, and I've been around the country a lot. I've literally most likely seen 48 states, I don't know, 60 or 70 times over. I've been driving trucks for 20 years out here on this road, 15 of them over the road consistently. And I'd like to tell you about some of the things I've seen on the road and some random conversations from some other drivers. But this podcast, and the whole title included, these are tales from the road. First tale. About 10 years ago, I was driving through Pennsylvania on a real dark night on a lonely road in the middle of nowhere. I stumbled upon the Interstate 78. If you don't know where that's at, that's in the northeast corner. It's one of the oldest highways in America. It was one of the first U.S. highways ever to be built into an interstate. Let's just say it's really creepy. I'm out there driving one night, and I'm literally going to a Toys R Us plant or something like that. I really can't remember. And as I'm driving down the highway, this ominous fog starts coming up. And remember, it's really dark. It's about maybe 1 or 2 o'clock at night. And I'm having a dido off this road into the mountains. And basically, it's a river on one side and just mountain roads on each side. So if you've never driven a truck, imagine driving a 53-foot, 80,000-pound vehicle in the middle of the night and then trying to navigate curvy roads where when you turn left to go around a curve as a snake, as a snake's body, you literally have to take both lanes to go around the mountain, or your trailer would hit the side of the mountain. A lot of people are like, well, why do these trucks come in our road in the mountains? Well, that's why. If we were to, in fact, drive the correct way and not take both lanes, then we would hit the mountain and clip it with our trailer. So as I'm doing this, I'm looking at the stream because I could see it to my left in the middle of the night, and it's really dark, but the moon is shining through the trees ever so slightly, but it's getting covered up because it's like overcast. And I'm sitting there like wondering, man, it is really dark. I wonder if it's going to storm or if it's going to rain. Just your mind's wondering. I have the radio playing, probably Bob Seger at the time, or maybe Pink Floyd. And as I'm looking at this little fast moving stream to my left, because I can catch glimpses of it in the night, in the brisk air, because it was kind of cool. It was actually the fall time. I started going around a bunch of curves, and as I'm going around these curves, I don't see any animals, I don't see any wildlife, I just see this little stream, and there's no cars. It's absolutely all by myself, alone. I'm taking a load of probably toys. I think I was going to the Toys R Us plant, and I'm going towards this intersection. When I come around the bend, I notice there's no GPS back then, okay? I know we have these big, giant computers in our trucks. They're brand new. We're all on paper logs. And so set the stage on that level. There is no GPS. There's no cell phones. It's just you, the road, and a paper book. And so I'm driving up to this intersection, and I get to the stop sign, and I turn left, and I go around this big curve again. I'm just going down another snaky road. I come up to another turn in the road, and there's another stop sign. So I proceed to turn right, go to another turn, I turn left. As I'm coming up to this left-hand turn that I know is coming up because I see signs telling me on the mountain curve that there's going to be a stop sign coming up. There's like a warning, an indicator sign. It's in the middle of the night. It's pitch black. Maybe one or two houses here and there on each side of the mountain road. I see in the distance a silhouette in the dark of a person. And like maybe, I don't know, 2 football fields away, I'm seeing this because I have my high beams on. And if you ever know anything about a truck, high beams, we have some pretty bright lights. So I'm literally trying to figure out, like, what is this silhouette doing in the middle of this road? So I get closer and closer and closer, and this heavy feeling starts hitting the air. And it's like a low pressure system where it's like pushing down on you. I don't know if you've ever been in a hurricane or a storm, like a tornado or a big thunderstorm. It's like the hair stands up, you feel this heavy pressure. So I get closer and closer, and I'm slowing down. Probably, I'm going at this speed, I'm going 45 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. It just keeps rotating to those facets because it's a really tight road. As I start really shifting down, manual transmission truck, I notice there's a person in the middle of the road. This is definitely a person. They have a hat on. I can't really tell what they're wearing, and I get about a football field away, probably about 25 miles an hour. And as I get closer and closer and closer, I could see that it's like an official person, like a police officer or a park ranger or something. They have a round brim hat on. So I'm sitting here and like, what in the world is this guy doing? There's no flashlights, there's no police cars, there's no street lights, there's no houses. This is a road that goes straight and dead ends into a left to right road from my perspective. So basically a big T, okay? Like the letter T. And this guy is in the middle of the road, and my beams just light him up. I mean, he is lit up, and he is literally wearing full ranger garb. Like the hat, like if you ever seen Yogi Bear, or if you've ever seen the Yellowstone, park rangers on cartoons or something, this guy is literally wearing this park ranger outfit, and he's in the middle of the night, in the middle of the road, and he's got a mustache, I believe, because I'm telling you, this kind of freaked me out. And he's got like no beard. It's just like a mustache and like maybe a goatee. Maybe he does have a beard. I can't really remember the details that good. So, like I said, this happened years ago. But he is definitely decked out wearing full garb, all right? And so I slow down to like 5 miles an hour. And this guy is a man. He's got his hands on his hips. He has no gun. He's just got a belt. It's tucked in. This guy's uniform is pristine. I mean, the guy is literally clean. He's got a watch on. It's shining. I'm pulling right beside this guy. My headlights are on him. It's bright now. This guy's got a round brim hat, he's got a tucked in shirt. His boots are literally shiny. He's like pristine, almost perfect, if you will. And I'm looking at this officer or ranger because he has a badge, but I can't make out if it's an officer, if it's a state trooper, if there's a wreck. I'm looking for blue lights. I'm looking for ambulances, what we call the disco party. That's what truckers call ambulances and stuff like that. And so I'm looking for this, and I can't seem to see anything. It's just black. And so I look at him, he looks at me, I literally pull beside him, and he steps out of the road, and he proceeds to the left side of my vehicle. And I'm 13.6 in the air. My driver's seat sits probably 13 feet. There's another 6 foot above me. And he just looks at me. And I look at him. And he doesn't say a word. And I don't say a word. And I'm looking at him, and he smiles at me. He steps to the side of my truck as I slowly go past him. As I'm stepping to the side, or as he's stepping to the side of my truck, he just looks at me, cocks his head to the side, smiles, gives a little wave with his left or right, I'm pretty sure it was his left hand, and just turns around and walks off into the mountains and disappears. Now, I'm at the stop sign at this point because I'm looking at him all the way to the left. I'm completely in neutral. I'm stopped, I'm literally, now the guy didn't vanish. Okay, let's be clear. There is no vanishing. This wasn't like he evaporated into some kind of mist. It was a physical person, and he turned around and there was a mountain. Remember I told you these curves and these steep slopes, but it's so dark I can't see anything about 10 to 20 feet to the left of me because now my headlights are not that way. And he literally, when he turned around, I could see him clearly walk into the woods and up the hill and just disappear. Never said a word to me, never said hello, never said there's a wreck, never said watch out, anything. And so I literally am flabbergasted at this point. I have no idea what he was doing. I have no idea why he was in the middle of the road. I have no idea if there's a wreck or anything. All I know is this strange man and this pristine ranger outfit. That's the only way I can describe it. Literally just disappeared into the woods. So I put my truck into fifth gear and clicked my high button. In a truck, you have a 10 super eaton speed gear shifter, and newer trucks that were, this was about a 2010 model, and you have 10 speeds. And so I put it in fifth gear, and there's a button that goes into sixth gear. So you flip the button up, so when you put it in neutral to shift into sixth gear, it automatically puts the truck in what's called a high gear, so you can go faster. You know, 6 speed is like 25 to 35, 7's 35 to 45, 9's 45, 55, 10th is 55 and up. So I'm literally in sixth gear. I dump my clutch and I just literally floor it out of there. Turn left and I proceed the rest of my day. 7th gear, 8th gear, back down to 7th gear, 6th gear. Because remember, this road is a 45, 35, 25, 10, 15, 25, 35, 10. So it's very tight to drive on. And I'm like freaking out. I don't know what this guy was. I don't know who he was. So we're going to fast forward. I make my delivery. Thing works out. I'm still thinking about this guy. Well, I end up on the 76 Turnpike, and somehow I end up in what I like to call Pirates Cove. And that's where there's a bowl in the 76 Turnpike where there's a whole slew of truck stops. You have Pilot, TA, Loves, every truck stop, QT. Any truck stop you could ever think of is in this huge bowl. And I used to like to go to the TA over there. Tour buses used to go there and everything. And they had a good liver and onion plate and stuff like that. Well, I'm in there eating one night, and I get to talking to some guys because we're in the trucker lounge, and we go eat some dinner. And these are some old timers. At the time, you know, I had experience, but not, these guys were been out here 30, 40 years. And they were joking and laughing, and I was joking and laughing, and they were telling me stuff they saw and things that they heard and stuff they experienced. And I told them about this experience I had in Pennsylvania on the 78 Interstate off the 78. And they told me, oh man, you saw Ranger Rick. And I'm like, Ranger Rick, what's that? And they tell me Ranger Rick is a ranger that died or mysteriously got hurt, or however they put it. Basically, he's a ghost. And he roams the little roads out there. And I'm like, yeah, right. And they're like, what did he look like? And I'm like, he's wearing a blue shirt with green this. And I describe his uniform to a T. I described a 1970s, 1980s park ranger uniform. And I didn't believe it. And there was cell phones back then. But mind you, guys, if you're new to this podcast or you're new to the life, phones were not as advanced as they were now. Hell, we just came out of the Nextel beep beep era. And if you don't know what that is, Google beep beep. Well, they pull up a phone on they pull up pictures. There is Google, there is a search engine, but it's very primitive, right? It's 2010 or something. So they pull it up and we literally see the picture of the outfits. And they're ranger outfits, and they're from the 80s, 70s, and it looks just like this guy. Like exact from this Pennsylvania area that I was in. And I freaked out, man. I just got such chill bumps, and I don't know if I saw a ghost though, but I do know either I saw a serial killer or a spirit, I don't know what it was. I know the man looked at me. I know he didn't say a word. And here's the kicker. When the old timer looked at me, we call them Billy Goats out here. He said, "Did he say anything to you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, Ranger Rick doesn't speak." And that's when I lost it. That's when I completely just lost it. I just could not believe that he just said that. I never told him that. He said, "Ranger Rick just smiles." And I told him. The guy just smiled and waved at me. And he said, "Yeah, that's what he does." I said, "Then he just walked off into the woods." He said, "Yeah." See, at the time this happened, when I made it to a payphone, because I still use payphones back then, I called my folks, because I couldn't get phone service very well. I had what's phone service did I have? I believe I had like Boost Mobile or something like that. And I called him and I said, "Hey, my dad's like, well, maybe he was looking for poachers or maybe it was a police officer." But when this guy talked to me at this truck stop at the TA, I literally just panicked because I know that he was accurately describing what I saw. And so to this day, on the Interstate 78, going north and south, off that main drag on one of those back roads that I don't remember or can't recall, there's a road that leads to a winding snake of a pass with mountain steeps on each side and a big raging stream. And somewhere in that intersection where that T comes to that stop sign in the middle of the night is a man that they call Ranger Rick. This has been Survivor Gamer. I appreciate you listening to this first episode. These are tales from the road. We're going to have new episodes every week, and hopefully you guys can enjoy what you hear. These aren't going to be ghost stories or alien stories. There might be, but they're not going to be what you think. They might just be stories of a person we saw and a life we touched, or it might be some random man in a ranger outfit that literally smiles at you and waves and walks into the woods and disappears. For now, that's it. Have a blessed day, and remember to survive and stay alive. Till next time, peace.